So I will explain why emotions are the cause of all physical illness. So in the physical plane, in the earth plane, as you call, on this earth, on this planet, the main thing that we are learning is through our emotions. What are the emotions? Fear, sadness, anger, and frustration could be. A lot of whole spectrum of emotion. Also, there's a positive emotions like happiness, joy, peace. Peace could be considered as emotion. Yeah. So we have whole spectrum, and when we as souls incarnate in this body and we experience life, we get certain kind of emotion. For example, fear. And fear is a negative emotion because it's manifests like uncomfortable feeling in your body. And that's when you know like it's emotion. And almost a habit for a human soul when it faces with certain kind of emotion like fear is to repress this feeling and resist this feeling because it's uncomfortable. And when we repress our feelings, and the more we repress our feelings, the more it actually affects our life, because subconsciously every time we are guided by the fear, even though we don't know that we are guided by the fear because it's so repressed that we even don't know. So the point is for physical experience is to fully embrace those negative emotions and just let it go. And when you're doing, you're actually transforming. Every time you facing negative emotion, your consciousness is rising to the next consciousness and the next consciousness and the next. But actually, you're all the same, but the dynamic consciousness is growing, as you can say, and you're expanding. There's a feeling of expansion. So when we are facing with negative emotions, we tend to repress those emotions. But what we can do is embrace those emotions and let it go. And once you're starting doing this, you are never affected by anything that was repressed. For example, if you repress sadness and if you're like, let's say that in your childhood, you was taught that girls or boys never cry because it's weak. So you repressed a lot of sadness in your childhood. So when you're repressing those sadness, you try always to be positive. When you try always be cheerful, always like something like, and when you get sad, you just immediately start recognizing that the sadness coming, and you know that it's not okay to feel those emotions. So you start to behave in the opposite direction. And you get more and more sad, and you don't know why. Why you're feeling sad? Why nothing is like, why you always feel unhappy? Why there is no happiness? You like all this, you like to smile, you're just projecting those self-image, but you're always sad because you repressed a lot of sadness. So, and once you start surrendering and once you start opening the sadness, the first emotion that you repressed for longest time, it will come up. It could come up as an anger, it could come up as a sadness, it could come up every negative. Maybe you repressed even joy, because for some people they never allowed to be positive, because everybody wasn't happy in their family, and they are never allowed to be positive. So they repressed laughter, and once they get more open, they start to laugh, because that's the most this emotion was repressed also. So people are learning through those emotions. That's the only thing that people learn and people transform is through the emotions. So when you repressed certain kind of emotions and you never experience it, or you experience a little bit, just a little bit, and you're not fully manifest, the emotion not fully manifested in your body is storing that emotion. So, for example, I have one example. Let's say that 21-year-old girl met this boy, and she fell in love with him, and she started a relationship with him. So, and it was appearing that he was emotionally or maybe physically abusive, and that 21-year-old girl was very angry, but she was taught that anger is bad, and you cannot be angry because it's not acceptable in her society. So she repressed a lot of anger, but she didn't know about it. She only she was not angry at those moments of abuse, but she repressed the anger inside. And when the anger was acceptable, she was not even aware that she have to feel anger. So what happened? Maybe she got separated or something, and she started to feel some strange symptoms in her body, but she didn't maybe notice, or she thought it will be fine. And then she got cancer. And suddenly, at the 21-year-old or 22 years old, she got cancer. So why? And nobody knows why. Why? Because your anger, you repressed a lot of anger. And when you did that, your body was actually accumulating, your cells, your body cells accumulated a lot of negative vibration, and anger is vibration. So it was accumulating all over your body, and maybe you got I don't know, melanoma or something. There's a lot of forms of cancer, and I don't know, it could be anything. It could be not cancer, it could be other physical illness, but your body was, your soul tried to inform you and signaling you have to release anger. You have to do this, but you don't know how to do this. She was not open to do this. And then what was starting to come up is the physical symptoms that was signaling even more. And then, so that she could realize that she has to transcend the anger, and transcend, I mean, experience it and let go of it. And if she's not doing it, she's repressing again. And maybe she got rid of the cancer, and after maybe 5 years, other physical illness appear, because she didn't actually deal with her anger. She didn't deal with those situations when she felt anger. So, and the cycle continues. Why all old people are physically ill? It's not because they're old, but because through those physical experiences in the earth plane, they compressed, and their bodies compress a lot of negative emotions, and could be also positive, but some negative emotion was present in their body. And so that they when they get old, their soul wanted to expand, and the only way that was left to expand is by feeling the illness, because during your illness you're also experiencing pain. For example, when you dealing with cancer, it could be extreme physical symptoms like fatigue and headaches and every kind of physical symptoms, so that you could realize your true pain, and that you could, for like a little bit, even a little bit, get purified. Your souls get purified, even in those moments when you're dealing with cancer and when you're dealing with your physical illness, your soul is purifying through that experience. If you're not creating more anger and more negative emotions, because that also could be a case. So yeah, so I know that for some skeptics, they could say, okay, for example, I know my friend, she dealt with cancer and that was totally gone out of the system, and she never dealt with the anger or some emotions. Yeah, but she dealt with the anger out of the illness, or she dealt with the sadness or something that was caused during this period of going through the physical illness. So that already was purifying her soul. And if it was going correctly, and maybe she went through therapy even to deal with her physical illness, she would get purified. So, but the main concept is to realize your emotion, recognize it, feel it, and let it go. So when you already know that you repressed like big emotion like anger, and you never feel angry, doesn't mean that anger doesn't exist for you, but you probably repress those emotions. You have to be humble enough, and you have to surrender to this feeling and be open for experiencing, because the only way you can let go of those negative things in your life by feeling it, by experiencing it. And there's no any other way. There's only there's no shortcuts. There's no short way for you to be fully present and be fully happy. Is then going and experiencing your pain, your fears, everything that you cannot experience before. You have to go through it. And there's no book in the world that could help you. There's no teachers that could help you. Only your body, your experience, and that's it. So thank you for watching. That's all I have for you, and see you next time. Bye.